trips tight end flex formation was one of the most popular offenses in the game, and it was out of the Detroit Lions at first, but now a lot of players are going to the Philadelphia Eagles offense, so they can mix this in as something that they audible into in addition to the gun normal Y off scheme that is very, very popular. But if you can't stop motion Y post, you will have no chance at beating players online, because nearly everyone that you're going to run into either runs this as a base offense or they're going to audible into it when they need a first down. The reason this play is so good is that there are 3 options that you can throw to with a slant route that's going to work from the wide side of the field to the short side of the field. Keeping the user underneath is going to open up the post that breaks in behind it. And then if you do everything perfect with those 2 routes, then there's that back breaking return pivot route that comes over the middle of the field late that will beat both zone and man coverage. So as you can imagine, this is a play that will absolutely shred cover 4, cover 3, Tampa 2, or any rendition of man, whether it's 2-man under, cover 1, or a cover 0 man-to-man blitz. So how do you stop this play when your opponent comes out in it? Well, make sure you guys are subscribed right here to the Zan Madden YouTube channel, as I'm gonna solve what ails you right now. This is gonna get you stops, win you more games, rest assured, and absolutely free tips. So make sure you guys are subscribed, hitting that notification bell. And if this tip helps you out, make sure you drop a comment below. It helps this video perform better in the YouTube algorithm, helps my channel grow. It's all absolutely free to do, and it's greatly appreciated. So today we are going to take a trip into one of my favorite coverages. Scratch that, my favorite coverage to run in Madden 25. Now I'm going to show you guys how the coverage behaves, and then we're going to install this into a pressure that's going to put the quarterback on a timer, and you're going to be able to sync this up so that way you're covering it and blitzing it to get those coverage sacks at the same time, rushing no more than 4. So what we're going to do is we're going to go into the 2-4 here just to work some cover 3 match. Now we've done cover 3 match here on the channel before, but I want to kind of talk about the numbering system of this defense. Now, if you're familiar with cover 4 match, this is not the same in that what we're going to be doing is using both hook curls to relate to the number 3 receiver. If you don't know what number 3 receiver means, we're going to number from the outside of the formation to the inside of the formation. This means that on the far outside left, Mike Evans is the number 1 receiver. In the middle of the trips, McMillan is the number 2 receiver. And then our far inside option on the left is our number 3 receiver. So now that we know the numbering system for this, the hook curls, what they do is they relate to the number 3 receiver, with the trip side hook playing an outside leverage and the hook that is away from this playing the inside break. So basically, if you were to think about it, the number 3 receiver declares which hook is going to end up playing him, and from there the other one turns into someone who seeks action or just looks for work in this play. So this is a great starting point as it pertains the base setup for this play, which is to slant the inside receiver. Most players, when they come out, there's this auto motion, they get rid of it immediately by putting B on a slant. So as you can imagine with this main setup, Sanders breaking over the middle is going to make our right hook curl take him man to man. This means that the left hook curl is now left kind of in the middle of the field looking for action. So if I were to just go ahead and click off here and start off with this, you're going to see that Sanders is going to slant, and he's going to work into that hook curl and then into the seam flat and into the outside third, which is unoccupied. So this little window is not really there. So for this reason, as you take a look at how the AI covers this, we have a really good starting point. You see, again, look at how the hooks jump. You see how the left hook jumps outside of Dion, the right hook stays inside. So now what you end up with in this particular breakdown is, if your opponent wants to throw this slant, they've got to wait for this guy to go all the way over here into this window. And as you can see, this is not really that open. And if you're looking for a user candidate on this play, I would start off lurking on number 29 as the user. So let's build from there. I'm going to start off with using the weak side hook. We go back to this little setup here, and I'm just going to basically look for this, and I'm going to hug it tight. And you see right here that this is basically shut down. Now let's take a look at what the offense would be scanning towards as it pertains to the other routes on this play. So as I mentioned, the tight end and the number 3 receiver usually kind of play this high-low left-right game at the same time. Well, these hooks are really, really smart because I take the inside breaking one with Dion. My other hook now scans the field and is looking for work. Well, who's coming his way? The post from the other side of the field. So now, no matter what, you see that that post route, as it's working to the other side of the field, is now manned up within the match defense for this cover 3. And then, of course, what becomes the third read? If you're reading this and you see no slant, you look over here, no post, everybody starts to look down to the return route. Well, if we kind of keep an eye on in the background here, this seam flat defender that's in the nickel corner role does a really good job of playing the inside break of this return route. And you see that he's kind of hugging it. And you don't have this throw over the middle here at all. Let's go and try to force feed that whip route back over the middle. So we snap the ball. Obviously the right side and the left side aren't there. And look at the pass rush, the way that it sheds so quickly. There will be times, of course, where you basically have the whip route kind of win over the middle, but truth be told, it's not a consistent outcome. I'm going to contain my rush here to slow it down just a little bit. You kind of see here, like, this is not really that open, and it 2/3 of the time, 75% of the time, that's covered. Now all of a sudden your opponent is in a much harder position to defend this. Now the cool part about this is that no matter how hard your opponent wants to adjust off of this, they're going to start to make some kind of crazy adjustments. You're going to start to see A on a streak and B on a post. Truth be told, simple stuff, man, because what ends up occurring is they snap this ball. I'm looking at number 3. If he comes my way, guess what? That's my guy. Look at how the match coverage adapts to that when they start to flood the other side of the field here. So when we take a look at some of the modifications that players will make off of this, if they try to use the tight end to run off the coverage on the right so the post can get open, you see that I just take that. I basically look and say, all right, well, I'm waiting for the trip side for somebody to break across the middle. If that third receiver is vertical, that's my guy going to the weak side. Then meanwhile, you have this whip route that's bracketed not only by the seam flap, but also by the hook curl that has nothing to do. So the inside pass lead is taken away. The back shoulder pass lead is taken away. And then the running back in the flat is really our only other option. Now, I will admit that sometimes with this particular play, that if your opponent does hike throw immediately to the running back out of the backfield, this can be a source of 7 to 10 yards. Well, what can we do here with this? Keep in mind, we're usering over here. So one of the things that I'm a big fan of doing is I like to go ahead and make sure that I have, a hard flat defender over here. Now, this particular context, this is my safety. So I don't have the ability to put him into a hard flat, and shading underneath will actually hurt my hook curl behavior. Even if I change my seam flat back on the left, you will still sometimes see that the hook curl on the left is shaded down and doesn't necessarily match the same way. So you're going to see right here how that tight end post basically gets open. So you don't want to shade this coverage, but I have a solve for you guys here coming up when we talk about what we should actually run to really give ourselves the best opportunity to get a stop against this play. Which brings me to my next point. If you guys enjoy this type of content, again, make sure you're subscribed right here to the channel, but also make sure you guys check out my strategy website, gridirongameplans.gg. This might be new to you here on the YouTube channel, but it is not new at all to my customers on the website who get this type of information first and foremost and most thorough, even more so than what you see here on the YouTube channel, because we're focused on the meta, or the most effective tactics available. This was the base offense of the community back in around Halloween time. We had this shut down within a week of it hitting the streets, and players have not struggled with this. So if this is something that's been giving you a lot of issues all year long, make sure you guys go over to the website. It's only $9.95 a month, unlocks everything, weekly vault updates focused on metas like this, but more topical and more current. So if you're thinking about right now, there's a new loot blitz that has come out since the most recent title update. We're talking about it in the most recent vault. So go check it out. Best deal in the tip space. Now back to the video. So the solve for this is actually going to come from our 1-4 defensive game plan on Gridiron Game Plans. And we're going to run either Strong Eagle Slant 3, or we can run a Crossfire loop, whichever one is up to you. We'll go with the Edge Blitz meta because I know a lot of you like to run that dollar or that dime 3-2 type defense. This reminds you of the play Edge Blitz in that 3-2. Now with this, all we got to do is modify our defense in a manner that allows us to have the zones that we want for the cover three match. Well, what was the cover three match? Realistically, it was 2 hook curls, 2 seam flats, and a middle third. So if we were to kind of take a look at how this cover three match would typically look, it would be these zones to make cover three match operate. Now, if we're talking about the edge blitz meta, we're going to have to make a few tweaks to this. So what we're going to do is we are going to take our outside slot corner and put him into the seam flat. We are going to take the safety that is up here and put him into the hook curl because we're blitzing this linebacker. And then we're going to change this player right here into the hook curl. So now we are running a cover three match, but we are blitzing in front of it with our front four rather than just hoping for a 4-man shed. So when we come out in this formation, you're going to see that we have the right coverage and we have a good chance at a loop blitz. So we snap the ball here, the pressure's coming around that left side, and look at how the match coverage is behaving on this. And you're in a really, really good spot because the quarterback has to get rid of the football. So you see right here, we take a look. Is the slant open? No. Is the post open? No. The running back might be the only thing that's open. Well, that's okay because we can make a modification. So let's go ahead and go into a different blitz. We'll go to the cross 3 fire. So again, what do we need here with this? If we're going to run a cover 3 match style play, all we need are the correct zones. Well, we have the 2 seam flats. So let's go ahead and put this guy into the hook curl on the left, this safety into the hook curl on the right, and test out our behavior here. Snap the ball. We look for the slant, taken away. Look for the post, taken away. Loop blitz comes in, match coverage on the whip route over the middle. Really, what's all that's left? Well, if you take a look, maybe the hike throw to the running back right away. A lot of players are going to hold on to the ball on this play. They don't want to just throw the ball immediately to the running back because they're really looking for the money routes, which are the slant, the post, and the whip route. So a lot of players will ignore this running back. But if they are giving you trouble with that running back, it's a simple solve. So you remember in the example where we were in the 4-2, I told you the safety was in the seam flat and I couldn't hard flat him and I couldn't shade the coverage down because it changed the match rules. Well, in the 1-4, or in your case, the 3-2, if you're in the dime 3-2, this slot corner can be adjusted to a hard flat. So now all we're doing is playing on the weak side hook as if it's still matched, but we're using the seam flat that is on the right side of the field to jump the running back hot throw. So I'm still looking for this slant and knowing that my left side hook curl, that linebacker, is going to play the tight end on the post. So the ball snapped. I kind of jump down. I'm taking this. And look at the pressure. I mean, we're getting straight to the quarterback. Now, as a result, your opponent is going to put themselves in a spot where they're like, okay, I can't really run this. I've got to block this blitz. And then you're right back into kind of dictating how your opponent plays. You can go back to your seam flat and not worry about it. Because again, even if they know how to block this blitz, nothing is open. And the sheds are still going to occur with this. So you're in a real good spot here by just understanding what coverage covers the combo. And then you install the pressure in front of it. If it's not, for instance, the 1-4, it might be a double mug type blitz with a cover 3 match. So kind of think about it from this point of view. What if we came out in something like linebacker blitz 3? Why is this an important play? Well, for starters, it's basically a cover 3 match by default. I would probably go ahead and base align this. So that way my linebacker right here stands in this particular spot. But when you kind of think about it, if I were to put this linebacker here into a hook curl and this linebacker here into a hook curl, we have the correct defense. So again, when we snap this ball, it's basically the match coverage behavior that we would be expecting, but it presents the illusion of pressure at the same time. So if I were to go in, base align, call that same blitz, there is a pretty substantial risk that I might be sending the heat. So, you know, I come out and I run it like this. Okay, well, we don't necessarily have the hook curl that we want on this play, but that's okay because we can still go ahead and put our hook curls on the play. Now, the one thing that we would be lacking on this would be the middle third if we were doing something super aggressive and blitzing like this. But I don't necessarily recommend that. I would probably still leave inside third. I would put this safety into the hook curl. I would go ahead and put this linebacker into the hook curl here. And then all you're missing is the seam flat. Now, again, what could happen? Your opponent might think, oh, well, this is pressure. So they block the running back, and now all of a sudden they're letting that guy in through, and, you know, maybe he sheds the running back. But then when you take a look at the actual route combo, it's still being matched just as the stock cover 3 match would behave. All that we're doing is ensuring that the correct zones are on the field. And what's really, really cool about this is that if they block that running back, they let that linebacker through the middle. And a lot of times that's an insta-shed. Right here in this regard, it wasn't, but as you can see here, look at how this was matched. I mean, especially the tight end post. I mean, we have somebody marking him. We can switch stick around. I'm not a big double A gap guy, but as you might imagine, this could be quite difficult to deal with. You know, you could come out and kind of run, you know, a defense that looks kind of like this, and then you bail out, but then the next down, you might actually send it and play like hard flats. And that creates a lot of issues for your opponents, because now all of a sudden, you know, they don't know whether or not they need to leave the running back in or leak him out. It just creates a lot of problems. So I hope you guys enjoyed today's video, kind of attacking this from not only a blitz perspective, but also the coverage perspective, mix and match, literally cover 3 match. I hope you guys liked the video. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Until then, this is Zan. Get the lab in. Good luck.